Yeah, yo, sometimes you gotta go to war for what you believe in. Sometimes you gotta go to war for what it is that you want, what you see that's right. I'm about to go to war, but lyrically. War cry, baby. Yeah. Hey yo, war cries echoes in the background. That's the sound of soldiers getting ripped up and tore down. Lyrically dismantle metaphors and manhandle. Marauder with me.
Peace. Welcome to another episode of Impose My Will podcast. I am your host, your brother Ramone. With me, my other host, my brother Joe. Joe, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. We got the spirits today, so I'm feeling great right now.
He about to start mellowing out in the set. You know what I'm
Much
saying?
needed, much needed.
Absolutely. So, before we get started, I want to thank any and everybody who watched our latest interview with Joe Taylor,
Yes.
son of a legend, Joe Taylor. Interview that we dropped, that we dropped last week, man. We really appreciate all of the love, all of the clicks. Most importantly, Joe himself really enjoyed doing the interview, and then after the fact, once he watched it, he enjoyed watching it back. He was very happy with it. So I feel like
Good,
that
good.
was a success. If you have not seen it, you have not watched it, please check it out on Impose My Will podcast on YouTube, and check out our other stuff too, man. You know, as we always say, we have things in the works, working on stuff. So it's more to come. But thank you. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure. So today, we want to talk about what's going down tomorrow night, which is the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson card. The circus, I like to call it.
Right.
Circus, but there's other things going on, but that's pretty much the focal point of the show today. So we want to kind of discuss that. Also talk about Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, which in my opinion, as a boxing fan, is for me. I don't want to speak for nobody else, but for me, is the actual fight that I'm tuning in for. The circus is a circus, but I'm tuning in for the legends, for the GOATs, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano rematch.
Yeah.
And also we'll touch on some other things if we get the opportunity to. But yeah, Joe. Real quick,
hmm
before we jump into that, I would be remiss not to touch on Boots Ennis fight last week. I've been messing homeboy's name up. I'm gonna call him Chuck.
You can
Sorry.
rock with Chuck. I like Chuck.
Yeah, these European names are tough for me. Well, but
hmm
we can call him Chuck. Joe, I want you to kind of give me your assessment. First, I want you to give me your assessment of Boots, and I want you to give me your assessment of Chuck, and then I want you to break down the fight a bit if you can.
And when you say the assessment, you talk about as from the fight?
Yeah, just when I say assessment, I mean basically tell me how you felt Boots did overall, how Chuck did
Mm.
overall, and then how the fight was overall.
Oh, all right. This fight, honestly, it went in a direction that I didn't expect. Um, to begin with, I honestly thought Boots was going to kind of walk through,
Yeah.
being that they had already fought earlier this year. And coming into this fight, like I was completely surprised
Right.
with Chuck. And I just started off with him. Chuck came into this focus, as they was talking about him leading into the fight. They was talking about how he had many nights because he's from the Ukraine,
Right.
where the war, where he was hearing bombs, where he had to get up in the middle of the night and go to a bomb shelter and
Right.
stuff. So his training was a little bit different, but I believe he came into this fight with something to prove. They represented his country and everything else,
Yeah.
but his game plan was solid. He fought a great fight. Like, you can't take nothing away from him.
Right.
Which I didn't expect for it to go the way it did.
Right.
Now, when you talk about Boots, where Boots in this fight, you could tell that he was trying to like get him out of there. He fought solid, but at the same time, he wasn't fighting. I felt like he just wasn't fighting like smart. He was going for the knockout, which was getting him blasted by that left hook, um, over the top quite a bit during that fight. And I felt like it kind of knocked him a step back when you look at him, especially in that weight class. You know, we kind of expected him to dominate, and now you're kind of hearing a lot of people talk about, hey, is he overrated? I don't think he's overrated. I just don't think he fought his best fight in that one. I felt like it was a step back and the lack of focus. Maybe he was too cocky and arrogant and didn't prep properly. But yeah, he got lucky. Things didn't go completely in Chuck's way because a couple of those punches, it looked like it kind of like wobbled him a couple of times too. So. Mhm.
I agree, man. So this fight is, of course, a rematch from a fight that Boost was on a different promotional team and company back in January 2023.
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you, I was kind of like not super excited that he got a rematch with a guy that he already beat, right?
Too.
You know what I mean? And I don't know what's going on over there as far as with him in Matchroom, and they promising him bigger fights, and we haven't seen them yet. I mean, what they want to fight 4 or 5 fights before they give him a big fight, or is it that they
Mhm.
can't make the big fights? They haven't been able to negotiate the big fights. That has been a problem, right? Boo Boo Andre is an example. When he was over there, he was like a golden child, right? He was a
Mhm.
kind of a prodigy boxer. I mean, this dude, he was praised by everybody, and praised for his skill, his movement, his awkwardness. People were scared to fight him, and Matchroom just wasn't able to secure him the fights for whatever reason. It could be a mixture of high risk, high risk, low reward fights. Um, his name was known amongst boxing fans, um, but a lot of people didn't know. Whatever the case may be, right? They just
Mhm.
failed to secure the fight. I don't want Boots to fall into that same kind of thing. Uber
Right.
talented, crazy athletic, but they got to be able to secure the fights. So the last time we spoke about Boots, and the last time we actually spoke about him going over to Matchroom, you
Mhm.
know, our initial reaction, my initial reaction was, oh, I thought this was a great thing. You got the backing of Turkey Al Sheikh, blah blah blah. But things have changed. Even with Riyadh season and
Mhm.
how they're conducting their business and how they're not really messing with the states at the moment. So things have changed, and Prince Turkey has different focuses now. He's really trying to pump, Bud Crawford. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, I'll say this about the fight. I, you know, I never like to discredit any fighter and say that they weren't prepared or they didn't take it seriously or whatever the case may be. But I do think that Boots thought that he would get over on just talent alone. Um,
Mhm.
a guy that he already beat, a guy that he beat convincingly. He thought it was probably going to be the same thing. Shout out to Karen Chuck. I call him Chuck because of the last name, but um, but it seems like they took it a bit more seriously in their preparation, right? In their
Yes.
preparation, in the way they fought him. They fought him much different this fight. They pretty much stayed right in the middle with him for the most part, and they hit Boots with a lot of big shots.
Yeah.
A lot of big shots. Of course, Boots hit him with a lot of shots, but he couldn't get him out of there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Wobbled him a bunch of times, but he couldn't get him out of there. But Karen did way better than anybody expected him to do, including
100%.
including Boots, including
Mhm.
his team. We listened to what his dad was saying in the corner. Get him out of there, get him out of there. Not much strategic information.
No.
Not much. Not much. Set this up, set this trap, do this, do that. It was, oh, get him out of. What you doing? Get him out of there. To me, that speak volumes.
You're right.
That
I
speak
think
volumes.
that got in his head too,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because you could tell in his facial expression it wasn't like.
It wasn't like
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
That spoke volumes to me, and not even just this fight, man. The last few have been somewhat telling to me. And
right.
what that tells me is that I believe that in the gym they work on a lot of his attributes. They work on, they play to his athleticism. They play to his quickness, speed, explosiveness. But
Mm,
I wish that there would be more teaching. Now, I'm not saying that they don't teach. I'm just it's just the
mhm,
ideas based off of what we see currently in the ring.
right.
Boots has had problems with cutting off the ring against guys who is not going to sit there and trade with him. He has had issues with setting up certain things, right? But he gets away with a lot of it strictly off of athleticism and
Yes.
and those kind of things. So I don't think enough teaching is going on. I don't see him being extremely strategic when it comes to fighting, especially his last fight. You know,
Mm,
where was the jab? You know what I'm saying? Where was
right.
it? It's a lot of questions. Also, I believe 147 is no longer for him. I want to
Yeah.
see him go to 154. I think he should be done with it. Ain't nothing at 144
Mm.
147 anyway. Go ahead.
Nah, and no. What I was gonna say, honestly, what I would prefer for Boots, just my opinion.
Yeah,
I think he was better off fighting Brian Norman Jr. for this fight.
it would have been it would
It
have
would
been
have been a better card.
it would have been a cut.
It would have been more action packed. I think the conversation with Boots would be completely different right now
Mm-hmm.
than what people is actually having with
Mm-hmm.
him. And like how you saying, there's nothing left in 147.
No, 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 not at all.
So you have to kind of go up. And if you want that Bud fight,
Yeah,
you need to chase Bud.
yeah,
Which that means, yo, you got to go up. You got to prove. You got to pretty much, if he leaves a path, yo, go down that trail till you catch him. Which means you got to fight the Spencers. It means you got to fight the Madrimals or whatever. If
yeah,
that's what you're chasing, like, why come back down to why Bud come back down to 147
yeah.
to fight for what?
Right.
And then what you gonna do after that?
All of those, almost every person you just named, plus
Mm,
many more at 154 are way higher profile fights than the ones that he's been fighting at 147. You know
100%.
what I'm saying? Matrimov is a higher profile opponent than all of his previous opponents. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like there's a Tim Tszyu fight. I keep hearing and I heard something about them possibly trying to chase Stanionis, whatever, right? Um,
Hmm.
I do want to see him go up to 154. I'll say this, and I've heard this from multiple interviews, and I agree. And I was saying this before the interviews came out. There, I don't know if it's actually like real talks or anything like that, but
Hmm.
um, I don't know if you heard your boy Oscar De La Hoya talking about doing a Golden Boy versus Matchroom kind of card, and one of the fights, probably the biggest fight on there, would be a Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. Um,
Yeah.
he can't he can't get hit with those kind of shots against somebody like Virgil. I'm not
Mm,
saying that Virgil will beat him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Virgil is better. He has um, way more actual skill than
hmm.
Virgil. Um, but Virgil got that big power. He got that thumping, thudding,
Right.
you know,
But
in the way.
from
Go
but
ahead,
from
go ahead.
what you were saying, just off the past fights you had,
Yeah.
that would be an ideal fight for him right now.
Yeah.
Because what we want to see right now is, all right, yo, how good is your skill set once we
Yeah.
put somebody in the ring
Yeah.
who is possibly equivalent to your status
Yeah.
or whatever? You may, say you're the bigger talk, you're the bigger fighter, you're the bigger height, but can you walk through Ortiz?
Right. Good question. Good question. Right. So let's
Hmm.
pivot because we
we spend enough time with
in
that.
the background we trying to shorten these things up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And we already used kind of half of the time, and I knew that was gonna happen, man. That's why I was like, damn.
Mm.
But we had to talk about it. There's so much more to talk about, but we had to talk about it. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual main event card for tomorrow night. It's dope that it's on a Friday too. I'm kind of digging that.
It is, yeah. I'm excited about it, man.
I'm definitely excited about that. Where you want to start? You want to go? Amanda, Katie? You want to go Tyson, Fury? Where you want to go with the card?
You know what? Let's go ahead and jump into the Tyson,
Okay,
and then saying give the woman the respect that's due,
absolutely
because technically I feel like that should be the main card anyway. But I get it.
right,
You want everybody to watch that fight
for
or
sure.
whatever. You don't want everybody just coming in for just the Tyson. You missed that or whatever.
You're right.
You got to
100%.
watch that. But yeah, let's jump right into it. You
Yes,
got
sir.
Tyson and Jake Paul.
Tyson J.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
this fight.
hold on, real quick.
Uh,
For anybody that is boxing fans, there are other decent fights on this card, and I want to run it real quick,
yeah,
Joe, before you
yeah.
jump in.
Give them a definitely rundown. It's on
So
our Facebook too.
yes, it is. It's on our Facebook page. Check us out. Shadeja Green versus Melinda Watpool. Shadeja fought the heavy hitting diva last time, and she caught her first L. So I'm looking forward to Shadeja coming back with some fire in her eyes and try to get crazy. I'm a fan of Shadeja Green. And this is 5:30. This prelim stuff right here.
Right, right.
Bruce Carrington is on the prelims as well. But moving over to the main card, of course, you got Jake Paul, Tyson, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. You also got Mario Barrios versus Abel Ramos.
Ramos.
Good fight. Good
Yep.
fight.
And that's for the WBC welterweight.
Correct. You got Goya versus Nunez. Decent fight. Decent card in truth. Decent
Yeah,
card in
it
truth.
really is a great
Yeah.
card. Like
Yeah.
kudos to Jake Paul and
Absolutely.
Most Valuable Promotions, because
Absolutely.
like his promotion game, I have to give it to him, bro.
Absolutely. Especially for the women. That
Yeah,
break $1 million, $1 million plus a fight, and for this card and the last card and stuff like that. So his promotional company is really getting busy. Okay, let's get to it. Go ahead, big dog.
that's right. That's right. All right. Well, like I said, Jake Paul and Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
This is an 8-round fight,
Yep.
2 minutes, 2-minute rounds. Tyson look in great shape, but you got to respect Jake Paul for the work that he has been doing, because I think this is actually going to be his first legit boxer that he's fighting. Granted,
Yeah.
58 years old, Tyson's IQ is still going to be there.
Yeah.
But, what I'm saying, we all know power is the last thing that goes or whatever. But I'm still riding with Tyson
Yeah.
with this fight because the power and everything. But at the same time, too, it's not it's not a luster fight for me or whatever. It's like I'm gonna watch it because I'm a Tyson fan at heart. So
I dig it. I want to just bring up real quick. A lot of the times when we make a comparison on who we're gonna take or whatever the case may be, we have to go back to their last performances. And speaking about Tyson, we got to remember, just a short few years ago, he did have an
Roy
exhibition against
Jones.
Roy Jones, right? And Mike looked pretty damn good for his age at that time. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
remember that contract for that fight. There was no
yes,
knockouts,
no, not he was
so
pulling
he had to
punches.
hold back.
He was
Hmm.
pulling his punches, right? Pulling his punches. A bit different this time around. A bit
Right.
different this time around. So, but he still moved well. He fought every round. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really get tired. Mike, at this particular juncture of his life, that's pretty decent, man. That's pretty deep. They just had to weigh in. He looks pretty. He looks good. He's big. He's bulky. So shout out to Mike for continuing on and taking this fight. $20 million. It's some good money being made.
Let me ask you this: did you
Yeah.
notice something about Tyson during the press conference?
I didn't watch it all, bro. I've been meaning to go back and finish it. But
Hmm.
I did not. I didn't watch enough to really notice anything. What about you?
Yeah, it seems like he's fighting for pride almost.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
just that warrior instinct.
yeah.
You seen him joking around previously leading up, but it
Right.
was just something different about him in this fight
Yeah,
or whatever. And it was almost fighting like he's coming into this fight. It was like his legacy, his pride. Like he don't want to joke around because
yeah.
I think over the years with everything he's been through. So I think it's a part of him that feel like, some people look at me like a joke still.
Well, I
So
mean,
mhm.
that's what he said. Like, I'm not sure if you got a chance to start watching the Netflix documentary thing that him
No,
and
I
Jake Paul.
haven't watched it yet.
Actually, it's pretty dope. It's only 3 episodes, and it's pretty freaking dope.
Hmm.
And they had Mike out in Brownsville, running around crazy and stuff like that, and it's really dope. But legacy is what he's fighting for. That's what he
Hmm.
said. This is for legacy, and also he want to drop the young man. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Uh,
right.
I want to switch over to Jake Paul real quick for a minute. First and foremost,
Hmm.
shout out to Jake Paul, like we said. Shout out to him for doing good business. As a matter of fact, even on that Netflix show, you kind of get a different look at Jake Paul that I respect. That I
Yeah,
respect.
he's earned my respect. I give him
Yes,
that. He's
yes, yes.
definitely
He
earned my
he
respect.
basically his life was spiraling out of control, and that's when he decided to bounce from LA and move to Puerto Rico and get into
Mhm.
some solitude and start building himself up. And boxing actually kind of became um like a healing for him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Build his body back from the drinking and drugging and all that different stuff. So I could respect that. Even with all of the circus, things going on surrounding the fights. There is some good, and that good is it basically brought him back to a peace. Um, he is smarter than what people give him credit for.
Mhm.
Um, and the reason why I say that is, of course, he picks his opponents correctly, right? None of his opponents, for the most part, are like active, high profile boxers, right?
Right.
But but his opponents are like superstars, which is how they're able
Mhm.
to sell tickets and stuff like that. Because even if he was to fight an actual active boxer today, it's really no guarantee that it'll sell out. We got to remember it's business first, and everybody wants him to legitimize himself as this boxer by fighting the active boxer. So what if he fought? I don't know. Well, he's heavyweight. I was gonna say you're Dennis Ugas or somebody, but they're heavier. So let's just say he fought somebody bigger. Doesn't mean it's gonna sell out. But if you go and get you know, one of the goats like Anderson Silva, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's pretty
No.
right, right. The name.
Mhm.
It's a mismatch, but it's the name, and he knows those people will sell tickets. He knows it's a circus. He knows, he's a good businessman. So in this particular case, I got to give it to him business wise for, you know, choosing Mike because he chose Mike Tyson for this fight. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, you know, Mike called him. He called Mike. So he chose Mike for this, and we're gonna watch it. When it comes to the actual skill, Jake Paul has gotten better.
Mhm.
There's no way around it. He's getting better and better. Got a good team. He got people around him who are making sure that he's actually preparing. And I'm not romanticizing over Mike Tyson. I'm not romanticizing over Mike Tyson to the point where in my mind I'm thinking about Mike from late 80s,
Yeah,
early
from the late
90s.
'80s.
You know what I'm saying? Like knocking people out and doing all this crazy stuff.
30-second fights.
Nah, being mad that you, I paid my $70, in the first round knock. I'm not romanticizing over that. That is not the
Mhm.
Mike I'm expecting to see. At almost 60 years old, um, I would. It would be cool to see Mike win, but I would not be surprised if he lost. If that makes sense, right? It's an
Right.
exhibition. There's really no true winner or true loser unless somebody get knocked out. And if nobody get knocked out, then it is what it is. But I'm again, it'll be dope to see him do something cool, but I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting.
Mhm.
That's all I got for that fight.
You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Any final thoughts on that one?
No, that's that fight is going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just tune in. We wait and see from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let's get into, I mean, like you would say, the quotes.
Quotes, man.
You know what I'm saying, the sight to see for tomorrow night
Absolutely.
is the Queens, man. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor.
Absolutely. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, 2.
I'm gonna let you kick this off, bro.
Sir. So as we know, again, this is Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, 2. First fight.
Mm-hmm.
They first fought in 2022. Start with Amanda real quick. Amanda has had some really good fights. Had a setback with the last card in Puerto Rico and stuff like that with her. I think she didn't get cleared for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but we're here now, and we're gonna get them. We're gonna get that fight. Hey, the first fight was like fight of the year contender.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that fight was crazy, action packed. Amanda Serrano, in my opinion, I gave her that fight. I thought she did enough. I know, she slowed down in the later rounds. Katie Taylor picked it up. Mid round, she started to pick it up. I think it was around round 5 or something like that, if I remember. But Katie Taylor definitely made it a close fight. Definitely made it a fight where, that it could sway the judges, and it did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and along with a lot of different boxing pundits, a lot of fans, felt like it should have been given to Amanda Serrano. I would assume that Amanda is going to not try to leave it in the judges' hands this time around.
100%.
I would say I would assume that stamina is at play real huge in her training camp for this fight, because she did slow down. And I mean, her output is crazy. Any human being would slow down with that kind of output. But Katie Taylor is, when you think about GWOAT female boxers, of course we talk about Clarissa. We love Clarissa over here. She is my GWOAT. But before Clarissa really was on the scene, and all of that, when you said GWOAT, or when you talked about the best female, boxers, Katie Taylor for the most part was at the top of that list. She's still
Yeah, still up there.
still hold its place up there, along with a few other women. It's a few GWOATs. You know what I'm saying? But I think Katie, being conscious of how close that last fight is, I believe that she might change her strategy as well and try to also keep it from going in the judges' hands. Maybe even starting a little faster than she did last time, because she was losing those early rounds. Maybe this time, she picks up the pace, and let her hands go early, so it's not so close in the later part of the rounds. I don't foresee a knockout either way it go. I don't think.
No. I think with this fight is going all. We got 10 rounds for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, all up there. Just 10 rounds. I know Serrano wanted to be 3 minutes, but they
Yeah.
still made it 2
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, this is going all the way. This
Yeah.
is definitely going to the final cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're in for a legit brawl between
Yeah.
these two brawls here.
Yes, we are. We in for what can be, again, contender or fight of the year. I have no doubt that these two are gonna leave it all out there in the ring, and we're gonna get our money's worth and what we paid for.
Oh yes.
Yeah, man. What about you? Any thoughts? Anything on this fight?
I'm leaning like you. I think Serrano is going to come into this fight well prepared, but not to take nothing away from Katie Taylor. Katie listened to the critics.
Yeah.
she's fully aware that it's a lot of people that felt that she did not win this fight.
Yeah.
So for her to come into this fight, she's going to be just like Amanda Serrano. She's going to be fully prepared. And
Yeah.
then also you've been hearing her say they had fun fighting each other.
Yeah. They sure did. They sure did.
They already talking about, let's get a third one. Like,
Right. Right. Make it a
yeah, I mean, they already talking about, hey,
Yep.
the contract is already off the printer
Mm,
right there, ready for another fight. And then to make it a trilogy. You know what I'm saying? If it goes that way. But yeah, Serrano, like you said, you could expect that high punch volume coming into it, but you're gonna see that definitely from Katie Taylor, man. Like I really don't know what to expect with this fight.
mm.
It's just more of let's wait and see. Um, because you're about to get 120% from both of them or whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about this one right here.
For sure, man. I mean, when you know, big boxers come to a particular point in their career where they meet their what we would call kind of equal. I wouldn't even say equal. I would say, you know what, dancing partner. I've heard that term.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a beautiful term right there. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly what this is
they
right
meet
here.
their dancing partner, whether it be their equal when it comes to talent, whether it be in prestige or whatever case may be. You meet your dancing partner. Once you meet your dancing partner, sometimes y'all got to do it multiple times. It is just not a
Hmm.
one doneer. Um, so I think she found her dance. I think they found each other dancing partner, and
Yeah,
this may not be the last one, which I'm cool with that. Totally cool with that.
right.
Totally cool with that.
100%.
So
But
moving on
yeah,
to our,
man.
yeah, yeah. So moving on to our last point, a couple minutes left. We want to touch on some news from Turkey Al Sheikh, what they call him, Your Highness, or whatever it be,
Prince Turkey.
Prince Turkey, right? Prince Turkey. So, if you guys haven't heard, the news came out that Prince Turkey has he just finished finalizing the deal with Ring Magazine to own it 100% own it. He is not a
Which is
partner.
interesting. You
Yeah.
know who he bought it from.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Break it down. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe. Break it down, big dog.
He done bought this. He bought Ring Magazine. He's full 100% owner
Yep.
from your homeboy,
Yep.
Oscar De La Hoya,
That's
who
right.
I did not realize who's been owning it from what, 2017?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
So that's that Matchroom DAZN Riot deal that they've been talking about or
Yeah.
whatever. Now you're seeing it come into play into different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Boxing is about to change, and I've heard rumors also too. Um, ESPN might be out of there with Top Rank, and now you got
So,
the purchase of the Ring magazine.
yeah.
So you're going to start seeing some, I would say, leverage being thrown around
Yeah.
rankings. The Ring magazines it was big with the control of the rankings and everything else,
Yeah.
the pound for pound listings and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing some shifting going around with the different boxing sections, your WBO, BA, BC, and your IBF. So now with the Ring magazine, it's probably going to become a little bit more prominent
Mhm.
um a title than
Mhm.
before. That's how it's looked because it's outshadowed by the others right now.
For
But
sure. For sure.
it's definitely going to be 2025. Boxing is going to be very interesting. But I want to know how things are going to play because, like how you said earlier, the business in the states
Right.
is a little bit dicey right now for Al Sheikh when it comes to trying to promote some of these big fights. He's not being able to get it. And I would say you get that push and pull coming more from PBC fighters
Yeah.
in that stable.
Yeah. The loyalty to Al Heyman is damn near ironclad over
But
there.
he's almost out of there. You haven't seen Al Heyman.
Yeah,
Nobody has seen Al
I
Heyman
heard
in
about I
boxing.
heard about that. I heard about that. I heard that he might be,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Tyson even mentioned
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Real quick,
Hmm.
so for anybody that's wondering what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I actually have I pulled up the post that he put up, and I wanted to read it real quick. And it was funny because when me and you were talking, you was like, "Yo, I wonder, how's this going to go?" I was like, he explained it already. Is it gonna go down just like this? Who knows? But these are his words, and so here we go. He said earlier this week, I finalized a deal to acquire 100% of the Ring magazine, and I want to make a few things clear. The print version of the magazine will return immediately after a 2-year hiatus and will be available in the U.S. and U.K. markets. So the magazine is coming back. The magazine will be fully independent with brilliant writers and focusing on every aspect of the sport of boxing. We will restore the legacy of Ring Rankings to its old mechanisms with a fully independent panel that lives up to the Ring magazine's golden era. We will continue to raise the prestige of the Ring titles, and plans are already underway to have a yearly extravagant award ceremony to celebrate the very best in the boxing industry. In the coming weeks, we intend to debut a brand new state-of-the-art website and mobile app. We are already in development for a line of Ring Magazine merchandise, and the Ring Magazine will be fully independent company without any involvement from Riyadh season. In the end, let's get the Bible of boxing to heights that it has never seen in the past. So I take a couple of things away from this, and then I'm gonna shut up. One, it sounds like that he is very conscious that Ring Magazine in the United States and the UK, in the eyes of its fans, does not hold the same position that it used to at one point. The Ring Magazine used to be a legitimate publication. Their pound for pound list used to be legitimate and has been compromised. That's what it sounds like to me. It's been compromised,
Right.
and they're fully aware how people feel. They're trying to make that happen. Also, on the last part, he talked about it being fully independent company of Riyadh, right? So he's saying even though we own it, we are claiming, again, we'll see, but we are claiming that our influence and what we're doing with our promotional company has nothing to
Won't
do.
cause effect.
Right, exactly. Won't have anything to do with how the actual magazine staff, writers, and everything operate. It will be totally independent from that particular identity. So, what's your thoughts, Joe?
That was one of the major things that I wanted to know right there. Will Riyadh season have an effect?
Right.
But I think he's approaching it one as a professional and keeping that separate. The panel that he's going to be using is, I would say, my biggest question.
Yeah.
Who do you have in mind?
Right.
And I definitely like the award achievements and stuff like that he's planning to involve with this, because I think that actually may entice. I think it might give fighters something to fight for or whatever, and take it away from the money, because I think the money is what probably is kind of, I would say, tainted some of the boxing right now or whatever. So I like his approach. The biggest question is this going to be able to go in the way how he visions it, and will people actually respect him to, saying, help move this into that direction? So
there you have it, y'all. Pose My Will podcast. There's so much more to talk about, man, but we really trying to condense these joints.
Yeah,
not
we'll be back, y'all. Tune in.
We'll be right back. We're gonna spin the block quickly. And Pose My Will podcast. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.